2NURFM's Health and Wellbeing for our sponsor Mullen Natural Health Centre, Hamilton.
It is a time for health and wellbeing, normally with Peter Mullen, but Peter is away on holidays today. Alyssa joining us. Good afternoon, Alyssa.
Carlie.
Yes. Alyssa's your friend.
Correct, yes.
Carlie, it is all about sleeping today. And we're looking at creating that healthy sleep routine. How do we do it?
Well, a lot of creating that healthy sleep hygiene or sleep routine is going with consistency. Our body prefers to go to the bed at the same time each night, waking up at the same time each morning. And particularly the hours before 12 are the most healing and most restorative. So trying to get bed as early as we can, around 9, 10 o'clock's ideal. Creating that healthy routine is all about reducing devices if we're having issues with being overstimulated. Yeah, so avoiding phones, iPads, television sometimes, and we can see how over the years this is part of our normal habit. So this could be impacting our sleep quality.
So blame the devices.
Correct.
Now, do you have the phone like near the bed? Are you checking it before sleep time yourself?
Well, especially if I'm having times that my sleep's a little bit disturbed, it's really important, at least 30 minutes that I don't look at my phone, iPads, just going back to the basics and getting a book out and not having that light stimulation is really important.
Mm-hmm. I think you've got to the heart of my problem already because I'm always on it during the day anyway, looking for quote-unquote work things.
Sure. Which
just morphs into, here's half an hour later, you're still on your phone or the iPad looking at stuff. Then it's sleep time and you find it very hard to, no pun intended, disconnect a little bit.
Absolutely, and that just shows the pace of our lives these days. But there's actually blue light emitting features on the new iPhones now, so you can actually reduce the exposure to the blue light, and that can also be helpful in creating that melatonin, that sleep hormone that we need to optimise so we can get off to sleep and stay asleep.
That's the other part, isn't it? You wake up in the middle of the night, I'm awake now.
And that's a really good sign that you're not creating melatonin at the right amount. Because that's actually the hormone that gets us to sleep and obviously keeps us asleep.
So if we're out of a healthy sleep pattern and we're 9 o'clock one night and then we're 1 in the morning the next night and we've thrown our complete self out of kilter, how do we get back in it? Because if you make the decision that I'm going to do 9 o'clock every night because that's what Carlie's just told me to do, how hard is it to get back into a rhythm? Yeah,
it is really hard, especially in clinic where I'm seeing shift workers, like where it's really that consistency is not there. It can be a little bit harder, and there's a few things that we can do to maximise and support the body during through that.
And there's a couple of things that can keep us up and awake and bug-eyed in the middle of the night, and one of those naughty naughties is caffeine.
Correct. It is one of those naughty naughties, and more so because, just for instance, a cup of coffee has a half-life of 6 hours. So if you have a cup of coffee in the morning, in 6 hours' time, you've actually got half the amount of caffeine in your bloodstream from that cup of coffee. So it is a stimulant. It can increase our cortisol levels, and increasing cortisol levels interferes with our production of melatonin, that sleep hormone. So sometimes we need to have a trial period of avoiding caffeine, especially if there's some chronic sleep issues.
I think that's hilarious because every person I know that is a coffee person, they're just putting the hate on you right now.
I know.
It's not happening.
I know. And sometimes it's a little bit of a working out when the best time of the day is to have that cup of coffee, but definitely no later than the 12 o'clock midday. But sometimes if we're actually getting that quality sleep and that more sleep during the night, we tend to create more of that energy, and we don't need to be picking up those stimulants to keep us going.
So it is one of the nasties. What are some of the other things that we might be eating or drinking that you can tell us to stay away from?
Well, anything that's going to increase that cortisol, which is that stress hormone, because it's the more cortisol, that stress hormone we have in our body, we're not producing that melatonin. So from a food point of view, high sugar diets, sugar just generally.
Energy drinks, what about those?
Not a fan whatsoever, I'm sorry.
I knew you'd say that. But that's okay, I'm not on those either. The other thing too is we have to create that right atmosphere for sleep, don't we?
We do.
And apparently there is an exact, precise, perfect temperature for sleep.
Well, the cooler the better. About 18.5 degrees is the optimal temperature for sleep. Have you ever noticed when you're in that hot sort of
It's not
summer
happening.
period. It's
No,
not going to
at all.
happen. It's so hard to get off to sleep. So, putting a fan on if it's in that summer period or some aircon. But actually, when our body temperature is warmer and the environment's a bit cooler, that's the optimal environment. So a bath before bed with some Epsom salts, maybe some lavender oil, really relaxing for the body. And our body temperature's warmer. So then when we're going to that cooler temperature in the environment, we're more likely to be able to drift off to sleep a bit easier.
Look, we'll be back to talk a little bit more about how we could get some sleep, and maybe, Carla, we're going to do something that's going to put you're going to be a little brave with us.
I am.
We might even open up the telephone line. If someone's got some trouble sleeping, they can give us a call and you'll do your very best to answer their question.
Sounds great.
You thought, I don't think I can do it, but we're going to do it.
Deal.
Bob, you've got a question about sleep. Good morning, afternoon, Bob.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, Bob.
I just had both knees done 8 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I can't get a decent night's sleep. I sleep for an hour and then I'm awake for a couple of hours and I go back to sleep. I just can't get into a rhythm.
Are you in pain with your knees?
Nah, yeah, but not that much, you know.
And are you taking any medications?
Pardon?
Are you taking any medications? No?
No, that was a no, Bob, for medications?
No medication, no.
And when you got your knees done, were you on medications at that point?
Oh, yeah, they put you on medication for that, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes when we've been on medications, our liver can get a little bit overworked because we've been on those medications, and when the liver's not working as well as it should, it can influence those ability to detox those stress hormones. And like I was saying, we really need to manage our stress, reduce those cortisol levels, and that could come back a lot to improving that liver function. So is it easy to get off to sleep for you? And you're just waking up?
Yeah, well, I go to bed about 10ish.
Yep.
And I go to sleep in front of the TV too, but, you know.
Yeah, and that might be a really good place to start. As I was saying, getting away from those devices at least 30 minutes, an hour before bed, turning lights off and just leaving lamps on, having a bath with some Epsom salts in the bath because there are high dose of magnesium through that. So really encouraging that really good sleep routine, that sleep habit, the hygiene, might just allow your body to be really in that restful state to start to establish that routine for you again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Bob. Hopefully we were able to help you out. I've got my own question for you, Carly.
Fire away.
My whole life I was able to brag I was a fantastic sleeper. In fact, if you said lay on the floor over there, I could fall asleep even with this program happening.
Sure.
But for the last few months I have not been able to, not all the time, but sometimes get the brain to stop thinking.
Yep.
So I'll be laying in bed, tired, exhausted, the day's over, but my brain will not it just won't turn off. It goes round and round and round and round. What's going on there, do you think?
So a lot of our sleep habits, especially not being able to go to sleep easy, or we're going to sleep easy but waking up during the night, is because our nervous system is a little bit under stress, a little bit overstimulated. We think about if we have a really busy day that we're going to be exhausted in the nighttime and be able to switch off, but sometimes the busier we are in the day, our brain just can't slow down. So being a little bit more mindful in the daytime of managing stress, supporting your body with good nutrient-dense foods, and sometimes supplements or herbs can really help with that. But the other thing that I'm finding at the moment with those with clients that are having a really hard time to switch off is to do some sort of meditation. Now, there's an app on your phone you can get called Headspace. So this is 10 minutes, and I know I've said don't touch your phone before bed, but you can
jump on your phone.
Put your headphones in. You don't need to look at the screen. It's the light that you're actually getting sensitive to. Headspace app, 10 minutes before bed, and it's quietening your mind. It's not allowing your brain to think about anything specifically. And the feedback I've had from this app is amazing. So managing stress, reducing cortisol levels so your body's able to produce that melatonin, massive one. magnesium, and we'll speak about magnesium in a second, is also really great in managing and reducing the stress on the nervous system. But doing these sort of lifestyle meditation, quiet thinking, and using a guided meditation like Headspace allows your body and your mind to stop.
Okay, well, I'll give that a go.
Awesome.
And I'll get back to you.
Deal.
If it doesn't work, you'll have to come up with something else. Now, Karlie, one of the big things about getting us to sleep right is what we're actually putting into our bodies, isn't it? Now, this is the big boogeyman that we've left till the end, haven't we?
We have, yes.
Okay, what are we doing wrong?
So, as I mentioned before, we need to reduce those foods that increase that cortisol, because cortisol will inhibit the production of melatonin. So having that low sugar diet, reducing caffeine if you're having issues with your sleep quality. But the things that we can do to add into our diet is to make sure you have a protein-rich snack either with dinner or even before bed. The protein will actually stabilise our blood sugars. And yeah, it helps to increase that melatonin in production. So some Greek yogurt or some nuts, some almonds and cashews can be a really good snack pre-bed.
That's not a bad idea. It's better than a chocolate bar or some ice cream.
Absolutely. And we can see that with those chocolate bars or the ice cream, it's going to increase that cortisol. So we're wanting to low sugar snack, Greek yogurt, nuts.
Looks like I've got a few things to throw out of the fridge this afternoon when I get home. Or Karlie will know. You will just know.
That's correct.
What about anything naturally that we can take as well? Supplements, perhaps?
Yes, that's also the really big part in establishing that routine. I find a lot of clients are really low in magnesium, and magnesium is needed to create melatonin. So we lose a lot of magnesium because our lives are busy and stressed and constantly on the go. So optimizing magnesium can be that key component of improving that sleep quality and allowing our bodies to create melatonin.
So if our lifestyles are taking the magnesium out,
yes,
what are the best ways to put it back in?
Well, there's a few ways. A supplement. I'd only recommend a practitioner product because you know you're getting the quality and at that therapeutic dose rather than a little bit of fairy dust that's really not worth it.
That's a fair call.
So magnesium. You can also have the Epsom salts in the bath, so that's another way of getting magnesium. There's a lot of ways to get magnesium also. There's magnesium sprays, magnesium oils. So again, supporting our lifestyle, increasing magnesium can be a really big part. Herbal medicine also works amazingly. Herbal medicine is really great in can help to manage stress and cortisol levels in the body. So supporting our stress response is ultimately going to help our sleep quality.
And maybe do what Peter's done, so have a nice relaxing holiday.
That's exactly right. Absolutely. And really, the other thing is that that's usually my first port of call with clients. And if things are still not working, melatonin can be a really good way of establishing that production and getting some sleep, because obviously when we sleep, we get a lot more out of life. We feel like a human, and it's really important for our long-term health. If we're not sleeping, it can affect our physical health, but especially mental health.
Got to feel like a human, Karlie.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Correct.
If you are struggling with sleep, we've got time to squeeze in a call or two. And good afternoon rather to you, Sharon. You've got a question about sleep for Karlie today.
Good afternoon, guys. Hi. I have a husband that hits a pillow and he's out to it, not a problem. Snores his head off for about 2.5 hours. Then he's up again. And he'll just get up, go to the toilet, have a drink of water and go back to bed. But then again, another 2 or 3 hours, he's up again.
Yes.
It'll go all night till the morning, but yet he's up at 6 o'clock every morning.
And it can be really hard because it's that sleep quality isn't there. So he's probably not really getting into a really deep sleep if he's consistently waking up. Now with sleep, there's always so many avenues of what might be going on. So I might just be basic with you and say, depending on stress levels during the day, as I'd mentioned, balancing and supporting that stress response, being busy on the go, that can be done by reducing those high sugar foods, making sure at each of his meal he's having some sort of protein component, because the protein helps to stabilise blood sugar levels. I would be taking a magnesium supplement. You're wanting to get a practitioner-only supplement, and the dosage between 400 to 800 milligrams a day is therapeutic. Herbal medicine also works great into establishing that better routine. And again, those sleep habits, the sleep hygiene, strictly no phones, iPads, telly, 30 minutes at least before bed. Turn off the lights, put the lamps on, create that better environment. But it is a really common thing I see in clinic. So it's identifying what those causes could be and working on those. But a good start would be taking some magnesium and optimising that diet with the protein and reducing the sugar.
Okay, so having fizzy drink or alcohol before bed is no-no?
Absolutely. So again, with the sleep, we're wanting to optimise the liver function, like I previously mentioned with the last caller. So when our liver's not functioning as well as it should, it can be hard to get off to sleep or stay asleep. We can be waking up between 1 and 3 in the morning. Or we can wake up tired, feeling like we could always roll over and go back to sleep. So when we're seeing those signs, it can be an influence that the liver might not be working well. So absolutely avoiding alcohol if sleep is an issue. Eating cruciferous vegetables like broccolis, cabbage, cauliflower, lemons, grapefruits, things like that actually help to increase the liver function. But if you're having problems with your sleep, you want to do anything you can to improve that quality, because you get so much more out of life, and it can impact our health dramatically in a negative way if we're not sleeping properly.
Lots of good information there for Sharon and the rest of us as well. Karlie, we've got some events coming up you need to tell us about very quickly.
We do. So the 1st of May, we have a fermenting demonstration. Kate Williams, a naturopath at Mullen Health, will be doing this one. So learning to ferment. So plenty of seats available with that one. On the 4th of May, I'm doing my Secret Mother's Business Talk again. So this is health tips for kids, more food-based and lunchbox ideas. Again, plenty seats are available there. The 9th of May, we have a natural remedies and immunity for the flu. So really great this time of year to arm ourselves with how we can increase our immunity before the winter period starts.
Wow, lots of great information at those sessions. And, of course, we won't be here next week being Anzac Day, but Peter will be back on the 2nd of May talking about the flu, Karlie.
That's it. So 5 ways to ward off the winter flu. So make sure you tune in to listen to that one.
It'll be very good. Thanks for your input today.
You're welcome.
I think my sleep has been solved. I'll call you up at 3 in the morning if it doesn't work, though. Thanks, Karlie Mckeand, filling in for Peter Mullen. He's back in a fortnight.